You think you're a nice guy? You think you're kind, respectful, patient, but deep down, you feel overlooked. You feel ignored. You feel like people walk over you, like your voice doesn't carry weight, like no one truly respects you. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not nice. You're weak. Yeah, I said it. And before you click off, before you get defensive, breathe. Because this isn't an attack. This is a wake-up call. There's a massive difference between being a good man and being a weak man hiding behind politeness. A good man chooses kindness from strength. A weak man chooses niceness from fear. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of being disliked, fear of standing alone. And most men don't even realize they're operating from fear. They think, I'm just not confrontational. I just want peace. I don't want drama. But what they really mean is, I'm afraid to lose approval. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you said yes when you wanted to say no? When was the last time you agreed with something you didn't believe in, just to avoid tension? When was the last time someone disrespected you, and you laughed it off? That's not kindness. That's weakness. And people can feel it. See, respect doesn't come from how agreeable you are. It comes from how solid you are, from how grounded you are in your values, from how willing you are to stand alone if necessary. Weak men confuse validation with connection. They think if they're helpful enough, generous enough, available enough, people will appreciate them. But here's the brutal truth. The more you chase approval, the less people respect you. Because respect isn't earned by bending. It's earned by standing firm. Nice guys over-explain. They apologize for things that aren't their fault. They text back instantly. They drop their plans. They suppress their opinions. They tolerate disrespect. And then they wonder why they feel invisible. You don't feel invisible because you're too kind. You feel invisible because you have no edge. There's no boundary, no spine, no consequence for crossing you. Strength is quiet, but it's undeniable. A strong man can smile and still mean business. He can be calm and still command the room. He can love deeply and still walk away without hesitation. That's power. Weak men stay in situations that drain them. Relationships where they're not valued, friendships where they're the punchline, jobs where they're underpaid and overworked. And they call it loyalty. But loyalty without self-respect is self-betrayal. Let that sink in. Self-betrayal. Every time you silence yourself to keep someone comfortable, you chip away at your confidence. Every time you let something slide that shouldn't slide, you teach people how to treat you. And people will treat you exactly how you train them to. If there's no resistance, there's no respect. Now understand this clearly. Being strong does not mean being aggressive. It doesn't mean yelling. It doesn't mean dominating conversations. It doesn't mean becoming cold or cruel. It means being assertive. It means saying, I don't like that. It means saying, no. Without explaining yourself for 10 minutes. It means walking away when necessary. Without begging to be understood. Weak men negotiate their boundaries. Strong men enforce them. And here's where it gets deeper. Most nice behavior comes from a scarcity mindset. If I'm not agreeable, she'll leave. If I don't help everyone, they won't like me. If I speak my truth, I'll lose friends. So you shrink. You soften your edges. You make yourself smaller so others feel comfortable. But comfort doesn't create admiration. Strength does. People admire what they cannot control. They respect what they cannot manipulate. If someone can guilt trip you easily, pressure you easily, change your mind easily, they won't respect you, even if they say they like you, especially in relationships. This hits hard. If you constantly prioritize her feelings over your values, if you avoid tough conversations, If you let things slide because you don't want to upset her, you don't look loving, you look unstable. Because deep down, everyone wants a man who is grounded, a man who stands for something, a man who isn't swayed by every emotional wave, a man who can say, "This is what I accept, this is what I don't," calmly, firmly, without anger. That's masculine energy. Not loud, not arrogant, not toxic. Stable, controlled, decisive. You don't need to become rude. You need to become solid. And that starts with discipline. Weakness isn't about muscles. It's about self-control. If you can't control your urges, if you can't stick to your word, if you can't follow through on your promises, you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, why would anyone else? Strong men do hard things consistently. They train when they don't feel like it. They work when they don't feel like it. They say no when it's uncomfortable. They tell the truth when it costs them. And that builds internal power. Internal power creates external respect. But here's the part nobody talks about. You will lose people when you stop being nice. You will lose access. You will lose approval. You will lose invitations. And it will hurt. At first, because you're detoxing from validation. You're breaking the addiction of being liked. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. Freedom to speak freely. Freedom to choose yourself. Freedom to build a life aligned with your standards. And something strange will happen. The right people will respect you more. They'll feel your presence differently. Because there's weight behind your words. When you say something, you mean it. When you promise something, you follow through. When you draw a line, it stays there. That's not weakness. That's leadership. And leadership starts with leading yourself. If you're tired of being overlooked, stop trying to be liked by everyone. If you're tired of being friend-zoned, stop being overly available. If you're tired of being the nice guy, start being the honest guy, the disciplined guy, the grounded guy. Because the world doesn't reward softness without strength. It rewards competence, conviction, consistency. Ask yourself honestly, are you kind because you choose to be, or because you're afraid not to be? That question alone can change your life. There's nothing wrong with being compassionate. There's nothing wrong with being respectful. But those traits must come from strength, not insecurity, not desperation, not fear. A strong man can walk into a room and not need anyone's approval. He doesn't perform. He doesn't overtalk. He doesn't chase attention. He observes. He decides. He moves with intention. That energy shifts everything. And the moment you develop it, you'll feel it in the way people respond to you, in the way you respond to yourself, in the way you carry your body. Your words will slow down. Your posture will straighten. Your decisions will sharpen. Because you're no longer trying to please. You're choosing to lead. So stop hiding behind the label of nice. It's comfortable. It's safe. But it's costing you your edge. It's costing you your respect. It's costing you your growth. You don't need to become colder. You need to become stronger. Strength with kindness. Boundaries with empathy. Discipline with heart. That's the balance. That's the evolution. And once you step into that version of yourself, you won't need to convince anyone of your value. They'll feel it before you even speak. So ask yourself today, are you truly a good man? Or are you just afraid to be disliked? Because the difference changes everything. And the moment you choose strength over approval is the moment your life shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently. This is your wake-up call. Now decide who you're going to become.